Welcome back to Fight News Now. It's time to turn things over to John Ramdian and Robin Black. And you know everyone's saying John Jones, Daniel Cormier, biggest fight at 205, to which Ramdian says, Bader and OSP is coming up.
We got 2 fight cards before the end of August. Fight night coming up. Ovince St. Preux taking on Ryan Bader in the main event. I really don't think anybody cares about that main event. However, there are some fights on the card worth noting. Gray Maynard now has a new opponent. He's going to be taking on Ross Pearson, who was robbed in his fight against Diego Sanchez. Is this the classic striker versus grappler? We know Gray Maynard has improved, but a lifetime of wrestling skills, you would expect that he's going to utilize them because we know Ross Pearson's abilities are the stand-up skills. Is it that simple?
Yeah, I've been reading your mail for sure because that's, when you look at it, Gray Maynard kind of needs a win. He kind of needs to right the ship, get back in that top 10, get back into relevance, make a statement that, hey man, I'm going to take one more real run at this. How do you do that against a British striker? You take his ass that. You get in tight on him, you get in on the double, you drive him across, and you start feeding him elbows, and you get old school on him. And that's what Gray Maynard's got to be looking to do. But you've got elements at play. Ross Pearson, for one, clearly improved in his takedown defense, clearly worked on all those elements, clearly has answers to some of that stuff, and the biggest raise of the median level of skill in all of fighting is in takedown defense and the ability to get back up. Also, Gray Maynard kind of fancied himself a boxer there for a little while. You know, against Frankie, he was able to land the big combinations early. Sometimes guys get that taste of smashing people and they get really excited about it. So if he's going too far that way, and Ross Pearson has really been working on it like most people in the sport have, all of a sudden we get a very super competitive fight.
People are a little hard on Gray Maynard. You look at his last number of losses. Frankie Edgar, former champion at 155 pounds. TJ Grant, who's going to be challenging for the 155-pound title, and a sensational Nathan Diaz. So, I mean, no shame in losing to guys at the top of the heap. And I had the chance to be at AKA, one of the homes of Gray Maynard, and everybody at the AKA gym, they all want to win together. So when a guy loses, they all feel like they've lost as a team. So to be at AKA, that's a great place for Gray Maynard because it's all about winners. And when you have Cain Velasquez and Daniel Cormier and all the other guys, Luke Rockhold, it's a good environment for a guy like Gray Maynard.
Yeah, and I think that there's a big root of building it around wrestling, that powerful wrestling base in there, so that'll be really good for him. But, you know, no shame in losing to those 3 names, and Ross Pearson's a great fighter, but you start sliding down and losing to guys lower and lower down the scale, people got to start asking you, you know, where you're at and what you're doing next.
Bader, OSP, the main event, but the third fight. I'm sorry, I'm not trying, there's no disrespect, but I look at the third fight of the night, Juicia Formiga taking on Zach Makovsky, the former Bellator champion. This is a bout that has title implications depending on who comes out and how they finish this fight.
These two are fantastic fighters. The biggest job sometimes for guys like this is, 1, you got to win this fight, and 2, you got to become memorable to the audience. That's part of the job of these guys these days. It's a neat one because, you know, you look at Formiga, and he has 8 submissions. 7 of those are chokes. 7 chokes. You look at Makovsky, of his 4 losses, 3 are submissions, all chokes. So you got that at play. Neither guy is really a knockout artist. They got 21, 22 fights between them, 1 lone knockout. So both guys want to make statements in that department. You need to get people's attention, and you need to be exciting on the feet. Makovsky gets better and better, but he's a grinder. All of those wins since he lost that Bellator title, all grinding decisions. And sometimes those can be really fun fights to watch, the ground and pound, but miserable fights if you're the guy on the bottom.
They've both proven themselves. They both have victories over Scott Jorgensen, one of the best in the class. August 23rd, the next fight night happens in the main event. It is a good one, as former lightweight champion Ben Henderson taking on Rafael Dos Anjos, who's been looking phenomenal as of late. We saw how dangerous the former lightweight champion Henderson was, you know, because, you know, a lot of people say that, oh, you know, he lost that fight with Josh Thompson. He lost his fight with Frankie Edgar, but he somehow can convince judges based on his fighting style that he can win, and it's by being athletic, it's being mobile. It's being very, very aggressive, and I like this fight with him and Dos Anjos.
I love this fight. Absolutely love this fight. Two fantastic, skilled guys, top of the division. And man, it is a tough spot to be in right now. You've got the champion facing off against Melendez on a television show and then fighting. So underneath, you can't sit around and wait. You got your Cerrones, you got your Dos Anjoses, you got your Hendersons, you got your Eagle. All of these guys got to fight it out. And by the time one of them establishes themselves as the top guy at 155 to be next for the title, he's going to be somebody to take very seriously.
Also on this same card, an outstanding matchup at 170 pounds. I hope people are going to be talking about this. Mike Pyle taking on Damian Maia.
Really good.
Two very experienced and skilled individuals.
And that's another doubleheader we'll get to look forward to on August 23rd. Thank you very much, guys. And as always, you can catch more with those two Monday nights at 7 Eastern for 5 rounds. We'll tag out, and when we return on the other side, it's back to the San Diego Comic-Con on the shift, and we'll squeeze in another viral video. Stay tuned.